Okie dokie. Welcome to the two-man podcast.
Yay.
Everybody is non-existent today.
Useless.
Yes. No. We had a few technical malfunctions for one of them.
Yes.
And the other one's still very busy with uni, so we can't really have him on. He's got a life outside of this podcast.
Yeah. Our lawyers are talking to Tolga at this point.
Yeah, so as the comment asked, could we remove Tolga's face? We did listen to you.
Yeah,
we made sure that
community.
this episode that we can be able to get rid of him.
Oh, bad people.
There are a few comments though that I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah.
One by our friend Trent. He mentioned kind of the problem with having how the games industry only has cis white men as male characters, like cis white men as the main characters, and how, of course, because they're only using those characters, they're going to constantly then say that females don't sell. It's a constant cycle because they're not willing to diverge. Because obviously we brought that up last week with the Ubisoft scandal.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a big surge of female characters coming through in recent years, and I think they have been selling well.
No, they have, but
not all. But
the thing is, well, no, I'd say no. Most of them are because the problem it's not the problem with a game isn't who the protagonist is.
It's going to be the base gameplay and all that.
If someone finds that to be a problem, you're a fuckwit. That's a fact.
I mean, you look at like Zero Dawn or Zero Dawn dinosaur,
Hero. Horizon
the
Zero
one with
Dawn.
the dino robots, that
Horizon
one.
Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Thank you.
Zero Hero Dawn.
Off to a good start. Yeah.
The one that's like Goat Simulator but with robots, right?
Yeah. It's like
that
Goat Robot Simulator. Yeah.
But no, so yeah, you've got characters like that. You've got Tomb Raider. You've got Control. Control's another one.
Yep.
Very recent game with a female protagonist.
Even if you go back to like Telltale, Walking Dead, that was Clementine. Like she was the main draw point of that series in the end. People came back to finish that series because of Clementine.
Yeah. I think that it's just sad because obviously because there's a majority of people who or a majority of companies only make male protagonists. What he's saying is, of course, females don't sell comparatively to male protagonists because you're only using male protagonists. You're not giving the chance of having more female protagonists, which I agree. I do agree with that.
I don't think that's as much of a problem anymore. I think because people put a white cis male, we shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna hate it because that's not progressive.
No. I'm not saying that. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the problem
I know you're
not,
but
what companies are saying, which is women don't sell because they're not giving the chance to women and they're only making cis white men. I'm not saying the problem lies in every game with a male protagonist or a white male protagonist is shit. What I'm saying is, it would be nice though to have a few more leads where, coming back to the Ubisoft scandal, the whole point of that topic was the last two games were meant to have female protagonists only.
Yeah. If a company they
purposefully changed it.
Yeah. If a company is thinking that way where they aren't going to do female characters because they think it doesn't sell, they should be ridiculed. But if they make a male character because they wanted a male character for their story, that's totally different. We're
not talking about
gaming is an artwork. It's art, Yeah,
and, we're not. The comment wasn't complaining. He was saying that it was a cycle of. This is why companies keep saying that because they're being idiots.
Yeah.
By not allowing the chance to have a female character, and then thus females don't sell as well as men because we don't use them at all.
But there are definitely female main characters coming out in recent years, which is really great, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come.
I hope more come, because
I think
it was interesting looking at let's say Gears of War. Gears of War 4 sucks. It's shit.
Oh really?
Right? I hate it. At least the story sucks, right?
Right.
Gears 5 follows the female protagonist, the female character, and she's the protagonist. And 5's story is 10 times better because they had more to tackle with. And personally, I think the female protagonist was a better character than the male protagonist of the fourth game. And you know, it proves that like you don't need to have it doesn't matter what gender the protagonist is, what race the protagonist is, so long as the story and the characters are good. That's all that matters. If you're 100%. Going for a single player story.
Yep.
I actually wanted to talk about, because Assassin's Creed Valhalla, obviously you can choose between two genders again.
Yep.
Even though canonically, same as Odyssey, where you could choose two, the female character is the canonical character, which to me is a really stupid thing to be like, you can choose, but the right choice is the female. I think get rid of the choice then, is my...
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care that it's the female character is the canonical version, but it seems really disingenuous to then have a male option.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're trying to... You think it's going to upset gamers that it's a female character. When it's not. It's not going to upset anyone. Like, no one gives a fuck.
It's a thin line between following your inspiration and motivation and... Well,
I mean, the Ubisoft choice, we already know the reasoning behind it, because it was, again, the females didn't sell. That was their belief while this game was announced. Actually, again, another follow-up on Ubisoft. Ashraf Ismail, the director of the most recent Assassin's Creed and Black Flag and Origins, has left the company. Also following allegations. From what I've read, it wasn't actual sexual misconduct.
So he's also got a lawsuit under his name.
Not lawsuit. So he had some problems where he got into a scandal where he was cheating on his wife and lying to women that he was not married, which... The problem, it also turns out that he was also divulging video game secrets to people behind closed doors. So he mentioned things in the game. He mentioned things about Origins before Origins was announced and stuff like that.
Why didn't you talk to me, dude? I want to know. I don't play your games, so am I going to tell?
I'll sleep with you and help you cheat on your wife if you tell me.
No, I just wanted to know the game stuff.
No, you don't have to. I'd do it. At least I would have back then, but now I don't care about any Ubisoft titles. But yeah, I don't know if there was other sexual assault allegations. That's what I'd read so far, but he's also now left. He was suspended a month ago.
It's falling apart, but maybe that's what needs to happen for Ubisoft to come back better.
Yes, I think it does, but I also think instead of getting rid of all the people under the CEO, they also need to get rid of the CEO too.
Alright, it needs to begin at the top, doesn't it? Change needs to start at the top.
Well, I mean, we already mentioned all.
We did. We've talked about a lot of Ubisoft. Yeah,
so much. But you know what? I think we're going to do the news segment first this week.
Cool.
Seeing as we've already gotten into that, but like the reason why is because I don't know, you haven't played anything new, have you, Mitch?
I've played this new game called Destiny. Really good, Destiny 2.
Oh, nice. But no, I think we'll go into the gaming news stuff.
It might be a shorter
There will
podcast.
be one game. Yeah, it will be a bit shorter. One of the games I will be talking about will probably be kind of interweaved with one of the news stories.
Okay.
But we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So first off, Epic Games. We love Epic Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my custom Discord. What's it called? Like status. That's the word. God, I'm on it today.
But no, Epic Games is at war with Apple and Google.
Go Epic.
I
don't care. I'm on Epic's side. I need Apple to lose. I just don't like Apple.
Here's the thing, right? I think there are some positives for Epic winning. There are some net positives there. However, I do think it's disingenuous the way Epic's phrasing it.
They're both dodgy companies.
Yeah, like, I think people need to not go, oh, I support Epic. It should be, I support other developers. Because realistically, that's where the positive comes in, is other developers won't have to pay a stupid 30% cut. But for people who don't know, Epic, Apple requires a 30% cut for their game, for anything that's sold on their store. Which is a lot. It's a lot, and it's an exorbitant amount of money.
Is a shit ton.
But it's not. I also say though, like, I'm pretty sure consoles like PlayStation Store is also a 30% cut. So I think that's worthy of knowing, because Epic's not attacking PlayStation. Epic's only attacking Apple and Google, and
that's because of what Epic did.
We'll get into that. They didn't do it for PlayStation though, And so I think that's like part of my this is a little sus, and I think it's because they I'll get into it anyway. So they essentially, what they did was they kind of started to sell their V-Bucks for $2 cheaper. So it's like, let's say instead of it being $10 for this subset of V-Bucks, you can buy them for $8, guys.
Wow.
Just buy it here and not here. If you buy it through us, we can give it to you slightly cheaper because we don't have to pay the 30% cut.
Yeah.
And Apple went, well, that's against our terms of service. You're creating a new marketplace outside of our marketplace. Fuck you. You're off the store. And they banned Fortnite from the store. Now, to mention it, essentially anyone who already has Fortnite can still play it on their phone. They can still play it. It's just you can't download it now. And we don't know what will happen. Well, yeah, like if they've already got it, you can still play it. But we won't know what happens if they update the game.
Yeah.
Because realistically, Apple, you can no longer update the game.
I don't know about this, dude, because what Epic did is really sketchy and against their terms.
They knew what they were doing. They did it purposefully, because as soon as they did that, it was like an hour later, they released this CGI video that was a parody of an old Apple ad back when Apple was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And it was all done with Fortnite characters. This was like an hour or so later. It does not take an hour to do something like that. No, they were ready. They knew what was coming, and they went straight into the propaganda. And realistically, Epic is doing this as a way of going, it's great for the consumer, which there are positives, 100%, but you're not doing it for the consumer. You're doing it. It's realistically, it's a billion-dollar company versus a $1 trillion company.
So
that's
but if
that's what it is.
If they've signed a contract to agree to terms and to
they don't really have.
How can you sue Apple for taking them off the store when it was you that broke those terms and conditions first?
So they have a small leg to stand on, and that is eBay doesn't get given a 30% cut. Doesn't get taken a 30. Let's say stores like eBay and Amazon, they don't have to pay a 30% cut to Apple.
Right.
Even if you're using the app on their store, because they are a store in and of themselves. And so they're saying that their leg to stand on is, well, our V-Bucks are also a store in and of itself. So they're kind of going on that legal leg. Whether or not it'll still work, because even though you got billions of dollars to put towards this, they've got trillions of dollars. They will make sure this wins.
They didn't deal with eBay, and they didn't deal with Amazon and that they were doing. They dealt directly with Epic, and it's their company that's gone and made a separate thing to escape this. So that's
the thing
different.
Is it's
still
the argument is still stands of, I can download the eBay app on my iPhone and use that app, but that app doesn't get charged a 30% cut.
No.
I can download the Fortnite app and buy something on the Fortnite store versus the Apple store, and they get charged a 30% cut. Do you see the argument there? There is an argument. I don't agree with it. I don't think they'll win it. I hope they do in a lot of ways because I think the net worth is for developers. I don't care. I hope Epic. I don't care for Epic. It's more just the smaller developers that have to charge more so that they have to pay a 30% cut. It's going to affect them in a positive way, and then it can affect the consumer. But I think for people to be like, yeah, Epic's this like great champion of the people, no. Epic's doing it for their bottom dollar.
Never do
you guys
that.
are fuckwits as well.
If you're doing that for Epic, oh god, where have you been?
No, they are literally doing it. Like Epic made this massive propaganda and this hashtag I side with Epic type of thing, and people lapped it up.
Look, I mean, at the start, I was like, yeah, Epic, go Epic. I hate Apple, but I will never, ever forget that Epic is a dodgy company. And Epic they do not care.
And they're one of the biggest companies. Like, other video game companies are nowhere near the size of Epic. Like, Epic owns the Unreal Engine, for example. Do you know how much money they make off the Unreal Engine, let alone Fortnite? Like, fuck me.
They're expensive.
And now they've got their own store, you know, like...
Yeah.
And their store is great in terms of...
Free
again,
games.
it's cheaper for the customer... Well, it's cheaper for the customer, the normal prices, the base prices, because they charge a smaller percentage to Steam.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to get on Epic Store. I still don't like the Epic Store. I don't like how it works. I think there are some flaws with it.
Oh, of course.
But I think it's going to get there, hopefully, eventually. And also now I'm going, okay, well, you have a broken store, but now you're going to spend all your money and time on this fucking lawsuit. God damn it.
But they've still got the good PR to back it, so it doesn't matter.
I know. I think it's really silly to be like, yeah, I side with Epic. I go, look, I hope they win because
there's an in-between.
There is a positive network, but still fuck you, Epic. Like, you're still a twat.
Yeah. Next year they'll have something that everyone will be going, why did we ever support this company?
And like my problem with them is like, you know, people are going, yeah, see, they're so consumer friendly, and then it's like, does everyone forget that they pay people to only sell their games on their store, so that people have to access the Epic Store? Like, are people forgetting that they tried to make, or they are making exclusivity on PC?
That was a controversy earlier this year.
It's still going. Oh no, it was late. It was early. It's been going on since last year.
Because there was even pre-order games that were on Steam, and they took it onto Epic
that was
Store.
Last year. It was Metro Exodus.
Was it last year? Okay, I thought it was.
So
earlier.
the people who pre-ordered it on Steam though, were still able to get it on Steam on release.
They were they?
It was just people from then on, after the announcement, could only get it on the Epic Store.
Oh, I thought they like transferred it over and was like, oh, everyone.
No.
You can get it on Epic Store now.
What they did do is the disc version. If you bought the cup, like the case, with the disc, it was actually came with an Epic code versus a Steam code.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
So that was what changed.
Yep.
But like for Metro Exodus specifically, there might have been other games where they changed that. I think there was a few crowd-funded games that changed.
Yep.
And then said, no, you'll now get it on Epic.
Yep.
But like other than that, it was mainly Metro Exodus was the first big one. But they still said, no, if you pre-ordered it on Steam from now, like before this announcement, you will get the initial release.
Yeah.
On Steam. However, people who pre-order it from now, like after this time, will get it in a year after it releases, which is when it will come to Steam.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Stupid. Anyway, exclusivities are bloody dumb when it comes to stuff like that. Anyway, let's continue. Warzone, our favorite battle royale. This is a funny meme.
Yeah, I've got a funny news about my actual favorite battle royale, but go on.
Well, the best battle royale, Warzone. They released a patch recently. On PC and PS4, it was a 1.3 gigabyte patch. On Xbox One, it was 60 gigabytes. Yeah.
Sorry, come again.
Yeah, so the reason why is essentially
60
it didn't.
gigabytes.
They didn't pack it like they did for the PC and PS4. But the thing is, I'm not done. You go listen.
I'm listening.
The size of the actual patch would then compact into a 1.3 gigabyte size. But the problem was that people had to delete games to be able to install this patch, and then they'd have to re-download those games because the console saw 60 gigabytes. You don't have 60 gigabytes available, even though you don't need 60 gigabytes available. Yeah, but honestly though, Warzone is a fucking nightmare, man. I hate the size of this game. We've had this conversation
as well.
No, it's just the size, man. The size of this game. How can you have over 200 gigabytes worth of patches for your battle, and that is primarily your battle royale?
Well, have they ever done anything on this scale where they kind of know how to deal with all this? Because we've talked about how Destiny doesn't, even though it's a huge game, it has a lot spanned over the years, it still isn't as big.
It's half the size.
Yeah. So
and
how
this
does
is
an MMO,
including expansions.
Yeah, how does an MMO with DLC, like all these new activities coming out every week, all these patches.
It's a matter of
how does Call of Duty? Yeah. Call of Duty needs to have more experience or realize what they're doing wrong and compact these files better so it's not so big.
I mean, I think what they need to do realistically is make the Warzone an optional download. If you're not going to be able to do it, make it at least an optional download. Because if you make it an optional download, then you get rid of because I only play the multiplayer. If I play COD, I'll play the normal multiplayer because it's enjoyable.
But
I hate Battle Royale.
That is a good idea. But it's insane that for the people that do want Warzone, you're still going to be having 200 gig downloads,
it's still a
and that's
giant
the problem.
size. I agree.
There's going to be less people that are like, I want to get rid of Warzone because I only play multiplayer or whatever, or I'll only play it a couple times. There's going to be less people going, I don't want it. If you just compact it and make it a smaller size.
But again, my other argument is though, then you should be able to do the option for the single player and the multiplayer and say, I only want Warzone. Which then again gets rid of around 60 to 80 gigs, which again, it's still way too big. Warzone is still way too big for the game it is.
Yeah.
And I do think they need to work on it. I think they will get better over time.
But
it's like, dude, you need to ASAP.
It's too big, especially for people on consoles. They only have a certain amount of memory.
Yeah.
Like PCs, I guess you can kind of.
I mean,
you have a lot of inbuilt memory.
Yeah.
But consoles, a lot of people probably would need to buy external hard drives, which a lot of people probably already have the stuff on them through the years because we're at the end of a generation here.
I know. I mean, Josh had to buy he had to buy an external hard drive because of Warzone.
So
I bought an external hard drive, but
that's almost like you've spent an extra $100 for this game,
Yeah. I mean, I bought one though, but that was because I got sick of having to delete games.
Yeah. I bought one years ago.
I don't own Warzone on PS4.
It's good.
But yeah, it's so much more useful. And I'm hoping, please PlayStation, make the hard drives compatible with the PS5. Please. Please. Anyway, let's continue on.
That's a feature they haven't brought up, is it?
No, but we'll
it's
find out.
We know we got external hard drives on PS4, and you're going to be able to do the same on PS5, but you can't use the old one, so go spend another $100.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking don't think so.
Xbox, our favorite company.
Yay.
So Xbox, as we know, the Xbox Series is the next generation, yeah? So we knew about the Xbox Series X, and there was a rumor of an Xbox Series S, which is essentially a weaker version of the X, but it'll be cheaper as well. So,
okay, go on.
So it's stronger than the One X still.
Sure.
But it's weaker than the X, but it is dramatically cheaper. It was essentially, it's like buying a budget PC versus buying a proper PC. So you can still run all the games, it just won't look as amazing or at its best. And it'll be dramatically cheaper for people who can't afford to buy the X, which is, in my opinion, a great idea. I think that's a really good idea. It's like, hey, you've got options.
Yeah.
It's just good options. Well, it hasn't been confirmed, right? it had not been confirmed.
Right.
It still hasn't been confirmed.
What are you leading into, Andrew?
However, so people got some new controllers, the new Xbox Series X controllers, and it says you're not meant to open them yet. People fucking opened them. And they read the manual, and it mentioned in the manual compatible with Xbox Series S. So
there you go.
We got the new console confirmed unofficially, essentially.
Yeah. Through other means that wasn't the company, but it was the company technically.
I don't think they've come out and said anything yet. So
Well, actually, on that, so speaking of things that they're releasing, PlayStation's also already captured the trademarks of PS6, PS7, PS8, PS9, and PS10 for the next 5 years. So we're going to be having a lot more PlayStations.
The reason why they do that, they grab that now, is because in case they end up using it. They might not still end up using it. They're grabbing it now in case someone else tries to grab it.
But it's good to know they have plans to keep going.
Well, of course they're planning to keep going. It's just whether or not they end up being able to earn enough money to keep going.
Yeah, but it depends on where technology goes in future years and how far they can go with it.
Yeah.
There's no point bringing out a next generation console if it's not going to be improved,
Oh, of course. And I think we're getting to a point though where games generations should need to stop focusing on just graphical improvement now. Because I feel like we're hitting almost a ceiling where we're almost getting to a point where it's how much further can we go?
Yeah.
And I think now what I'd like to see is improved AI and stuff, having really improved technical things, having games where it's hey, we've hit this ceiling for how games can look. Now let's keep to that ceiling and now expand on it. So let's make an open world that can make it look as good as a linear game can.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think that's where the next expansions will be. And for example, with the PlayStation 5, it looks better. It does look better.
Yeah.
But realistically, the most amazing part is there's barely any load times. That's the real big step. And we saw that implemented with the new Ratchet and Clank, where they're going between portals and there's no loading.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting. But my next news now, this is exciting for me personally. Ghost of Tsushima announced.
I was going to mention that.
Their new DLC.
They do have a new DLC already.
Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Announced. And
we can put the trailer up for you guys. We might run it in the background without audio
now.
While we're talking about it.
No, the game got announced. This DLC, free by the way.
Really, it's free?
Free DLC. Yeah, free DLC. No microtransactions. Co-op multiplayer.
Whoa, that has really... Whoa. That is one of the best
moves. This game keeps getting better, man. It just keeps getting better.
This needs to be Game of the Year.
Well, we'll see. We've got more games coming out. But right now, it is my Game of the Year. Yeah. Right now, it is absolutely
So explain this DLC, because I watched the trailer, but I didn't really know what it was about.
So it's a single-player co-op style game. You're versing AI. You've got 4 classes. So the classes are the Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, or Assassin.
Is this all DLC?
Pardon?
Are you explaining DLC?
Yes. Yeah. So this is the DLC. So it's a co-op 2 to 4 player experience. So the 2-player missions are more story-based, and it's focusing more on the folklore and mythology of Tsushima Island.
Right.
You got glimpses of in the original story where you did these missions following these legends from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are kind of focusing more on that. Right. So it's going to focus a bit more on the fantasy side of things, which is really cool. I think that's really fun. And then, so the 2-player missions are the story-based missions.
Yeah.
And then the 4-player missions are wave-based and almost doing raids and shit.
Wow, that's fun.
And it seems really fun. Obviously, won't know until it comes out. But this is how you make a game and just you add on and improve it. Like, it is for me, I spend $100 on the game. I'm getting free DLC, no microtransactions.
Yeah, and you get to play with your friends in a game that you all love and experiences together.
I mean, rip, because none of my friends have Ghost, but
yeah,
whatever.
Sorry about that.
I'll probably just do it on matchmaking, which is gonna.
But it
suck.
seemed like such a really dark twist on the story that they've created, because it seemed really dark and
it's taking that
scary,
dark
not
Japanese
scary,
mythology.
You know what I mean?
It's taking that dark, like, kind of mythology of like Japanese folklore, and so I think that'll be really cool to see where they go with that, how they tackle it, because like we've had a few games tackling Japanese mythology. Big example, Neo. Neo being one of them. And I personally was getting sick of having every feudal or feudal Japan-based game, or like historic Japanese game being like, okay, you're a samurai, but you're fighting demons and Japanese mythology. That was like, because we had Sekiro, we had Neo 1 and 2, and I was like,
still good
these are great. They're all really great, but I'd love to see just a more realistic tackle, which is what Tsushima did. So then to see Tsushima go, okay, now we're going to dive into the mythology as well as a bit of a side thing. Let's go. And I find it fun that instead of it being like you can just play however you want, it's like, no, you're going to have classes. You've got to decide how you want to play beforehand.
Yeah.
I'm 100% choosing samurai. I enjoyed the hand-to-hand combat, like the face-to-face combat, too much to not choose samurai.
Yeah, fair enough.
I also I played a little bit. I went back and played some more again, even though I've completed it, because they released a lethal mode.
Is that a harder difficulty? Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, it's true to its name, man. It's like a 2-shot down.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And it makes it even more fun. I think it thrives on the harder difficulties, because
maybe a bit more
it feels more apparent, you feel like, these blades do damage. Like, they actually fucking hurt. And it makes it just feel like it is very much you want to try and take out your enemy as quick as possible. It gets rid of like how many items you have, because like, that was a big problem. There was a lot of items in the hard mode. Like, I could pick up kunais constantly. I never ran out of my tools. Whereas in this mode, I feel like I have to be smart with how I use them. I only played for a little bit. I didn't play for too much. I just wanted to try it out.
Hopefully this DLC comes out and it's as hype as it sounds.
I don't even care if it was average, because it is, again, it's free.
It is free.
It's free, and it is no microtransactions. Like, to me, it's a win no matter what.
Yeah.
Because you're just getting more content for a fun game. Content. Yeah.
Just enjoy it for what it is, even if you don't think it's the best thing in the world, because it's free. All right.
Absolutely.
Don't be up in the world.
I want it to be good. I want it to be good.
It probably will be.
Please be. Yes. Considering how good it's been. Anyway, sorry.
Now,
what were you going to say?
I was just mucking around. Well, not mucking around. I don't go on Twitter a lot, but I saw there was this a little Twitter war, all in good fun, by Fall Guys and
yes.
Who was it? It was Tim the Tap Man, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Tim the Tap Man, who is trying to get his first win.
Yes.
In Fall Guys.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was connected to this charity thing that Fall Guys was doing with like some big streamers and whatnot. I don't know. Don't quote me.
I'm not too sure about that.
No, but they had a Twitter war. Anyways. And basically, he's been playing for so many hours and he hadn't gotten any wins. And on Twitter, Fall Guys was being ruthless. I'll put some of these tweets to Andrew so he can put them up. But like, there's stuff like, I'm not gonna let a 6-year-old bully me in a game for 6-year-olds, literally. And then Tim the Tap Man, 0 wins, 647 losses. Keeps going. False alarm, lol, he never gonna win. What other ones do you got?
It is funny. I think that whoever's running the Fall Guys Twitter, you're winning. Actually, on another Fall Guys note, I do want to mention another interesting thing where they're doing this charity thing where companies obviously have been trying to get their merchandise into Fall Guys. They've been calling them out, going, "Yo, let's do this." And so Fall Guys finally went, "Okay, whoever offers up the most money for a special needs charity in the UK gets this content gets to have a collaboration," which I think is amazing. I think they're up to 100 and something K now.
Yeah, they're pretty big now.
And I think that's a great idea. Like, good on you guys for doing something so awesome like that.
This war is so funny. It's like, I hope I'm still alive when Tim Tapman scores a dub. I'm 31 years old right now, so at the current state, it's looking pretty unlikely. But
we'll post them up.
We'll post some of them up because they're really funny. But eventually he did get a win.
Did he finally get one?
He finally got a win, and they posted about it. They just, in all caps, is like, "We just witnessed one of the biggest gaming moments of our lifetimes. For years to come, people will be asking each other, where were you when Tim the Tapman got the dub?" And they posted a video of his win and stuff, but there were memes everywhere for it. So well done, Tim the Tapman. Well done, Fall Guys, for pretty wholesome content, which is really nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about Fall Guys. You said you were on Twitter a little bit.
A little bit. I don't use it too often.
Now, did you watch this video? I've sent a link to it now.
I haven't.
There is a video about someone. No, you haven't? Okay, so there's a video that someone posted talking about how they feel about people trying too hard in video games.
Okay. Alright, guys, watch this. This is the reason why I stopped playing video games right here.
Okay.
People this game has been out for like what, a week? Just 1 week, and people are this try hard at a party game. Like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, why are you doing this to everybody else? People don't learn how to go pro in a game in 1 week, but yet you guys are out here like winning every single, like, it just doesn't make sense, man. You lose the fun in the game once you turn everything so competitive. Like, sometimes people just want to hop on, have a good time with their friends, play around, but next thing they know, they see sweats like this guy, right? Like, winning every single game he plays, and then the game just becomes unfun after like 5 days. That's why no one plays Fortnite anymore. People are starting to lose fun in Warzone. Like, it's just...
Alright. Fuck this guy.
Well, no, look, okay, can I just
sure.
go to...
In Warzone, Fortnite, whatever. I agree.
I think it's really silly for Fall Guys.
But Fall Guys, are you effing kidding me?
There's no strategy involved in Fall Guys, guys.
There is, though. No, there is. There is definite strategies.
But it's very minor. It's the gameplay is strictly jump, dive, grab. You have 3 buttons.
There is
only so much that your skill can take you.
In that one that he was watching.
In the hexagonal drop,
a bit of strategy.
There is strategy, absolutely.
But there's nothing wrong with this. The whole point of the game is to win, right? Yeah, you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to muck around with friends as well.
Everyone's having fun when they lose as well. That's my thing with it is.
There's nothing wrong with people wanting to keep winning in this game.
Yeah.
You know,
that's just sore loser. That's being a sore loser.
Yeah, he's just coming across as a massive sook who can't play the game and goes, well, everyone's better than me. I'm going to complain about it because they shouldn't be better than me, sort of thing. It's like me when I play an FPS, but I know I'm just shit. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, coming from someone who I suck at most PvP games. We know that as a fact. There are a few PvP games that I'm decent at. For Honor was one of them. Yeah. I was really good at For Honor.
Yeah.
For some reason, I clicked with For Honor and actually was fairly decent at it.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
I don't care if I lose most of the time. If I'm enjoying the minute-to-minute gameplay, I'll get salty that I've lost, but I know it's at my expense and I just need to get better. It is all a thing of practice makes perfect, and if you're doing something where it is a competitive game,
it may look cute.
What are you expecting?
But it's competitive. It's supposed to be a battle royale.
It's a competitive game. Well, ignoring that it's a battle royale, it's an online competitive game.
It's literally an elimination style thing. You want to get through to the rounds. If you're gonna get through rounds, you got to be better.
Absolutely, man. Like, I just think it's so silly.
The fact of the matter is, whatever game it is, single player, multiplayer, MMO, RPG, whatever. If people enjoy the game, they're going to play the shit out of it because they enjoy it. Therefore, getting better, knowing how to be better, and then continuing to do that. You know, it's just the natural progression of gaming.
Yeah, the only game where I agree with the sweatiness is Fortnite. Fortnite is the only game where I'm like, yeah, dude, that game went shit once people started.
Yeah, because you know why? Because the 12-year-olds get home from school. That's all they want to do before they go to bed. They only have a certain amount of computer time, so they have to use it on Fortnite. Okay?
Ignoring that, I just think the building mechanic, although it was a neat idea, to me that ended up ruining Fortnite for me. Where it became a
but at the same time, that's what set Fortnite apart.
Absolutely.
That's what made it different. So,
absolutely. I just think it's more just, to me, that mechanic was no longer fun. Like,
it comes down to the individual, really. Yeah. If you like it or whether you don't. I grew tired of Fortnite real early. I think I stopped playing around season 4, maybe.
You lasted longer than me.
Yeah, well, because I had mates playing it still, so I was playing a few games here and there. But
yeah, like, we know that I don't like Battle Royales. I think Battle Royales are the most overdone thing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that...
But the thing, Fall Guys has done a little different take, because it's not an FPS.
Yes. And it's quicker, unlike other battle royales where it's like, oh, you're going to spend like 20 minutes in a match and then die.
It's not. I think why this guy is being so up and about it is because it's not as intense as the other ones where you're like, I need to kill these other people with this gun and shoot them and be quicker and more reactive and you're always on edge. I mean, you're on edge in Fall Guys, to be fair, but this game has a lot more casual look about it, and it's a lot cuter. It's the aesthetic and atmosphere around it that this guy's gone, why are these people so good? Well, because people still are competitive. People have a competitive nature, whatever game it is.
I hate PvP games. Like I just mentioned, I hate online competitive games. This game is a blast. I still haven't gotten a win in Fall Guys, mainly because I barely play it.
10 wins, baby. 10 wins.
You still shit. You know, I haven't, because I rarely play it, but when I do play it, even when I lose, I might go, oh, that's bullshit, but then I'll be like, fuck, this is a good time. This is just a fun time.
It is a really fun time.
Everyone who's getting cut about losing over or any game, really, it's like, chill. It's just a fucking game.
Yeah, guys, don't do that.
Like,
that's really...
no, Ninja, you too, like, calling out, like, it's not a game. Anyone who says it's just a game is losing. No,
I get mad.
I think you can get angry. No, I think you can get angry, but it's more just those people who then go, like, who take it a step too far, you know?
You know, the amount of times I rage at people grabbing me and pushing me off.
You get really mad. I remember when
I do sit there sometimes and go, man, I take this game really seriously, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm just.
But you take every game seriously, though.
It's because I'm really competitive. No matter what it is, I'm competitive. I can't help it. I want to be good at it.
You take most PvP games very seriously. Like the amount of times I
can't help it. I can't help it.
And you're having a mental breakdown over your teammate on fucking Rocket League.
Oh, I was about to say Rocket League. Fuck that community. Get out of my life. Get out.
Oh god.
I just don't understand. No, I need to say it. How can I be a bad player now? And I still get the worst teammate. There's 4 people. You give me one person. You give me someone worse than me. Fix your shit.
I got a cramp. You're trying to get a neck cramp.
That's why I don't play your stupid game anymore, you toxic community that I was definitely in because I'm toxic.
You're part of toxicity, but you know, whatever. It's the community's fault. Okay, let's go on to the next news segment.
Yeah.
You remember how we spoke about Avengers last week? And how Spider-Man's exclusive to PlayStation? Well, people got an email this week, people who've pre-ordered the game, and said, be excited to play Spider-Man on PS4 in March. When the game comes out in September. So yeah, it's coming out, he's actually coming out in 6 months. They expect people to play this game for 6 months.
I'm No one's gonna be around in 6 months.
Good on them for having faith in their game, which isn't warranted.
Maybe it's a business move. Maybe they're like, we don't think people are going to stay around.
So do you know what? That's what they're going to do. Oh, absolutely. They're going, okay, this game's shit. So when they'll come back though, because they get to play Spider-Man.
But even if they come back, it'll be significantly less numbers than the ones that came originally.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be the subset that bought it on PS4 specifically for this.
The only way this is going to work for them is if people come, they realize the game's shit, they leave, they go, okay, let's improve the game, make it better, bring out Spider-Man in this release date. People will come back, and then that amount of people will then give positive reviews and spread word. That's the only way it could live past that.
I genuinely don't. I think they actually believe their game's going to have a long-lasting community. I don't think they realize how bad their game. I think it's going to make a lot of money to begin with. I don't think it's going to last for very long. Here's why. No, here's why I think it's going to make a lot of money. And this is based on strictly what I've been reading online. Yeah. So many people I've read have pre-ordered this game because they love Marvel. Like I can guarantee you, they've made so much money strictly because of the Marvel name. Okay, that is the fact. That's why I believe it's going to make a lot of money, but I don't think it's going to last. I think it'll make a lot of money first couple days, and then it's just going to die.
There's so many better things to use your money on.
Yeah, well,
Destiny DLC coming out in November. There you go.
This is the new segment that I said I'm going to tie into a game that I played this week, and I played the beta of the Avengers game.
Let us know your thoughts. I know I've heard a little bit of what you said, but I want to hear it again.
Okay, so the first mission that we saw at E3 is actually the first mission of the game, and it is the first mission of the demo. You get to try out a number of the characters in different scenarios. So you get to try out Thor, Iron Man,
which is Hulk, a good idea,
and Black Widow. It's a good introduction, right? And you get to try out Captain America as well. Sorry.
Who's that guy? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him, right?
No.
Anyway, so first off, I want to say the combat is very simple. Square is to attack. Triangle's to do a heavy attack. And you've got ability buttons like Destiny. You've got R1 for an ability button, L1 for an ability button, and L1 plus R1 for a super-ish attack. And then you also have holding R2 gives you a passive ability sometimes, and sometimes it's another ability as well, depending on the hero. The combat fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Specifically on a few subset heroes.
Is it because it's so simple?
It's simple, but also just... For example, I said the Hulk. He's probably the worst character in my opinion.
Yeah.
He is the worst. And it is because, one, it is really weird being the Hulk, who is a fucking strong character, to be hitting enemies 4 times before they drop. It just feels wrong. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel smooth. The animations are really clunky.
Yeah.
You have them doing a normal punch, but teleporting 10 meters towards the enemy to connect it and shit. Really ugly looking animations. The game looks horrible.
It's always looked horrible.
Look, the opening section actually looked pretty alright. Not gonna lie. The opening mission, I was like, oh, the game's not as bad as I thought it was. Then we go into the other missions later on, and that's when it goes to shit. But the game looks horrible. The game runs horribly. On my PlayStation, I've got base PlayStation 4, so take that with a grain of salt. But on the base PlayStation 4, it was running. It felt like below 30 frames for most of the time. I understand people are going to say, oh, but it's a beta. Motherfucker, it comes out next month.
Yeah.
No, the betas, when they come out a month before the game release, is not a beta. It is a glorified demo at this point. They might fix a few server problems, which I had, but they can't fix the amount of problems that are in this game. There are technical issues. The online connection, horrible. I constantly just had people just kind of floating, moving. There was no clean animations of them moving when I was connected online with other players. It took me sometimes ages to connect with other people. which is worrying considering this is the beta and it's an open beta, which normally has more people than what's necessarily expected for the base game because it's a free trial of the game. Anyway, the heroes all felt shit, really. The only interesting ones for me were actually Iron Man. For a split second, then I hated it. He was the most interesting just because he had a dynamic range, so you could beat the shit out of people on the ground, fly into the air, and beat the shit out of people in the air. And he flew around a bit like an Anthem, like a character from Anthem, which was fun, but it was like, hey, you know that Anthem movement that was actually really fun to use? Let's make it more clunky and shitter.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm saying Anthem played better than you is a problem already.
Yeah. That's true.
But on top of that, the Captain America was kind of fun to play for a little bit, and then Black Widow was fun to play for a little bit.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. It's all a big thing of me going for a little bit.
Do you think that the simplified game style is to do with the target audience, maybe? Because they know they have that loyal base that may be a little bit younger, and they don't want it to be too complicated for people so they don't leave?
Well,
do you reckon?
Here's the thing, right? I don't think it's necessarily the problem is with the simplicity. Because
it's the diversity of moves and...
It's not just the diversity, it's how it feels. Like, you can have a simple combat. Like, realistically, Dark Souls, right? Dark Souls is very simplistic in its combat. You lock on, you have a heavy and a light attack, and you dodge.
Yeah.
That is the... And you can block and parry. Like, that's the base level of the combat. Obviously, there's more expansive stuff in and of itself. Like, you can then go, okay, but then you've got to stat your character and you can do all this stuff. There's obviously a bit more to it.
Yeah.
But, like, the core mechanics, like, if I just built a character basing only on hitting and dodging, which is this game,
yeah,
I would have more fun still with Dark Souls because it still feels better to play. This game doesn't feel... Mention, as I was saying, the missions later on. So the first mission, I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This is some cool set pieces. Like, I'm running along like a bridge that is like literally crumbling and shit. This is cool."
Yeah.
And then it went into, okay, now we're going into our live service bullshit where you're going to rank like different missions, that are all the same. Let's go from A to B. Look at stand in this circle to capture the point and fight waves of enemies, then go into the enemy base, and the enemy bases all look the fucking same.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's it. And another thing I really want to comment on. This is like I said, it's a Destiny-style game in the sense of it's a live service, you get loot, all that shit. What's the best part about getting loot in Destiny besides upgrading your character? It's how the character looks, yeah? Because you've seen your character progress, he looks cooler, oh my god. The loot doesn't have a physical effect in this game. It is strictly stat only. There's costumes that you can unlock, but to me, that looks like it's going to be heavily monetized.
Yeah.
You know, that's a problem. Then on top of that, you've got problems like the fact that there's character models that I had a character, right, who was standing in the snow, but I was looking into a building. Yeah, my camera was facing a building, but because of the weird like clipping and shading and like outlines of the character, she had this weird white outline around her because she was in the snow. It was these weird fucking graphical issues. Lip syncing failed miserably. There were moments where the character's mouth wasn't even moving during the voice acting. Now, this is the part that I think is really sad, and that is they have some big actors in this game, like really big voice actors. Yeah, they have the likes of Troy Baker's on there, Nolan North's on there. Like, just to name the probably in my opinion the two really big ones. Nolan North, if you don't know, Mitchell is...
I know Nolan North.
You know, okay, sweet. But like he's one of my favorite voice actors because I love the Uncharted series. Uncharted is one of my favorite franchises. You get Nathan Drake playing Tony Stark, in my head, I'm going, that's a brilliant fucking idea.
Brilliant casting, yeah.
Brilliant. Too bad I wanted to punch Nolan North in the face by the end of this demo.
Really?
They ruined it. And it's not the voice acting. I do not blame the voice actors. It is the writing is so bad. And like for a game where you're making a character who is witty, like let's say Tony Stark, to have in this one fight the same line repeated around 8 times makes me want to shoot myself. And it's like you should have made more. Like you can't expect someone to want to hear Tony Stark say the same shit 8 times. You can't expect that.
No.
That's a joke. It's a bad game. It's a really bad game. I didn't expect it to be.
Come on, give us your Andrew review
For the beta. It's a fucking 1.
Yeah.
I found no positive in that game. I bit the bullet and played 2 extra missions than I like 2 missions after the like main story stuff. I did like it all in all like 3 or 4 missions, and I was fucking done. I was so bored of this game by the end of it. I wanted to jump. Like I hated it. It was one of the worst games I've played in a long time, especially considering this is a AAA development company.
It's not even a small game. We're ripping on Fall Guys for having server issues and everything, and they're not even a major company. And then you got
this is Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, and it's like, you guys have failed so much, so hard in this. Like, this is a joke. This game is a joke. And it is so clear that it is a cash grab. And like you can tell that Square Enix was like, we need to try and make as much money off this Marvel license as possible, so we're going to make it a live service. And it's disgusting. It's a corporate mess. It's trash. Honestly, one of the worst games I've played, and it was just a fucking beta. Like,
I don't know. It's true.
And I've played some shit fucking games. I played Anthem.
We all played Anthem.
I played Anthem. No, but I played it to end game.
Oh yeah, you actually bought it.
No, I didn't buy it. I had Origin access. And I did that specifically. I paid $20 for that month so that I could try out Anthem because I didn't trust EA.
Nice.
And I played it to end game.
Yeah.
Because I still had more fun with Anthem than I did with this shit.
Yeah.
I would rather go back and play more endgame Anthem back when it first came out than fucking play this shit. It is that bad. Like,
is
it is
Anthem
horrible.
still alive?
No, it's pretty much dead. Although they did announce that they're like doing a kind of like a No Man's Sky reboot, soft reboot. Yeah. Which good on them if they managed to, but you fucked it in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah, well, let's finish off the news segment and then we'll go into... I have been playing a game that I want to talk about, or a couple games. But let's go into the last news segment. Now, Mitchell, you love GTA 5 Online, right?
Do I?
I don't know. But do you love even more Red Dead Online?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, good. You'll be happy to hear that Red Dead Online released a new patch. That's news in my opinion. I'm really glad they managed to release a new patch.
It's just a shame no one plays it.
Well, people still do, actually.
Oh, come on, Tony, get off, man. It's dead. It's dead.
Well, Red Dead released a new update to the game.
What'd they do?
They released a new update that, you know, it's a new, some new online story missions and shit like that. Some new content. Good on them. There were quite a number of bugs with it, so they released a patch to fix it.
Yep.
That backfired immensely.
How?
So there's been multiple issues. So characters and animals are now popping in and out of nowhere. So like they weren't actually. So you know how you have like weird pop-in game moments in games where like a character will just appear because like the game didn't register that there was a pop-in. Well, this isn't just doing that. It's like literally spawning in the characters way too late. So like there's a video of a guy riding a horse on train tracks and then the train pops in on top of him essentially and he gets knocked off his horse and like fucking flies. You know, like shit like that.
Oh, what a
on top of that, there like when you call your horse, sometimes it just won't come, or sometimes it'll be flying, or my favorite one is there's an invisible horse bug. where essentially it'll flash in and out of existence. So there are moments where you'll be riding your horse, but it just looks like you're floating the entire time.
I mean, that's cool.
That's great. On top of that, there was an old bug that happened where people found like horses falling from the sky, dead horses, and there were like piles of dead horses. That was a bug, right? And that's back. People are finding like piles of dead horses and shit.
No.
And like another one is like there's this creepy bald man like appearing in and out of some people's games, like and then like becoming translucent like a ghost.
There's a ghost.
And it's creepy as fuck. Like but it's a bug in the game. Like what a joke, man! I loved that. I think that's a good news segment. That's a funny one.
Oh no! I don't want to play. I'm scared of Red Dead Online now.
I mean, I have it on PC. I'm almost tempted to hop on to try and see if I can experience
dead horses and a bald man looking at me, then disappearing. I'm good.
It's like a creepy bald guy, and like they follow you. And like at first, people thought it was a player, but then they disappear and go translucent and shit. It's so funny. Anyway, like that's it for really news.
Yeah. Tell us about your games.
Okay. I've been on a massive RPG binge. I realized that like I bought it before I left to New Zealand, but didn't touch it. Which was Divinity: Original Sin 2 on PS4.
Come again? Divinity.
It's called Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Right.
It's an RPG. It's a top-down RPG, in the vein of a game like Baldur's Gate, and it is literally Dungeons and Dragons, the video game, in the sense of you can either create a brand new character or start as a character that has a given backstory already, and then also you employ other characters in your party, which then they have their own backstories, etc. Which is like, any RPG really. Yeah. But what really makes it shine is you have so many choices and ways to go around things in this game.
There
are so many like conversational things that you can pick up on. You can go through missions just if you have enough charisma and shit and enough traits in that area, just talking.
Yeah.
Just convincing people to go like talk it down and stuff and shit like that. It's just really fun shit like that. The combat's really interesting, in my opinion. I suck at these types of games. It's like a tactics. You choose where your character moves. You tell him what to attack. He has skills that he uses. Yep. I suck at these games. I fucking suck at them.
Need to play more D&D, my friend.
Well, it's not really D&D based.
You said it was D&D, the video game.
Okay.
You said it was D&D.
I'll get there eventually. But I suck at this type of like strategy style of gameplay. But the fun with this one is there is so much fun to be had with the magic system in this game. The magic system is really awesome. You can combine so many different things. Yeah. So like, for example, my character's a battle mage, so he's focusing on like aero magic, which is like electricity and wind-based magic, yeah?
Yeah.
And I have another mage that is focused on water magic. So, you've got water-based magic spells and then ice, etc. So like I can combine our two spells. For example, I have her throw in to cause like essentially the clouds to form and to cause rain, right, in a certain area. Then I throw in my electricity, which then boosts it because of the water. It boosts the power of my electricity and will actually hit more enemies. Shit like that. Or like, for example, you can have a character throw a shit ton of oil. I use the electricity to use a spark, cause a spark, blows up the area.
So you can get real cohesion in your group.
You can combine a lot of things.
Yeah.
If you cause like a toxic pile, again, if you use fire in that area, it's more likely to explode because it's toxic gases and fumes. It's just shit like that, right?
Yeah.
It's really neat, small things, but it's so much fun to kind of fuck around with. And it's been a blast doing stuff like that. The story's really cool. I chose a character called the Red Prince because he had the coolest backstory. I didn't make my own character because I love this character's backstory.
Yeah.
And his whole backstory is like, you're a prince who, in order to get stronger, confided with demons.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, your family's banished you. And so you wish to get back your throne. And you'll do whatever means are necessary.
Ooh.
And it's like some really cool, like, you don't have to follow that story, because that's not the main story. That is just your character's story.
Right.
So that is an optional story that you can continue and follow. You could literally just follow the main story or everyone else's stories, etc. Which I really love. I love that, like, the option, the choice in that game. It's really neat. I wish I didn't have this game on PlayStation, though. It feels so weird because it's like this point-and-click strategy game. It feels so weird on a console.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had it on PC, I'd enjoy this game so much more.
Okay.
But I still enjoy it. This game I'm playing slowly. I'm playing it at night time, so like when I'm on the computer most of the time during the day, and then once it gets later, I'll go into my room and hop in bed and play my PlayStation.
Yeah.
But the other game I've been playing, which again, RPG binge, it was on sale and your boy got his tax return, so of course he bought a game.
It's worse things to spend it on.
Exactly. The rest went to bills, but I thought I'd treat myself as well. But I bought Greedfall is the name of the game.
Greenfall.
No, Greed.
Oh, Greed. Okay.
Yeah. This game's made by a European company, Focus Home Interactive, which is the guys that produced that Aeon game that we spoke about with all the controversy last week.
Mm.
They made this game, and it shows that it's made by a smaller company.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of issues in terms of there are some graphical issues, like the character models look really bad.
Yeah.
The way lips move, fucking horrible. But I give it leeway because again, it's a smaller company, and they have a big vision for this game.
Yeah.
And I love the concept of this game.
Right.
Like the core concept is everyone loves fantasy, yeah? Everyone loves a good fantasy world.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's get fantasy, but instead of being a generic fantasy where we're normally in like a medieval England or something like that, fantasy, but we're in colonial era. So a fantasy game where there's muskets, pirates, you're traveling to a new land and colonizing it, which is a bit questionable because you're the colonizer, so it's like, how am I meant to feel like I'm the good guy when I'm taking someone else's land? Bit questionable. But, you know.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it feels a bit... But it's like, so far it's been interesting because a lot of the time the choices your character's been making is towards the natives.
Yeah.
And from what I've gathered, my character is related to the natives in some way.
Yeah.
Hi, Mitchell's doggy.
Yeah, my little dog's
Hi, doggy.
Little barking or something. Yeah.
I love the concept of the game. It's a really neat idea. The setting is amazing. And like I said, this game's weird because there are moments where you go through a part of the world and you're like, oh my god, this game is gorgeous. And then you go to the next dialogue scene and you go,
so it's really hit and miss in a lot of parts.
Yeah, it's really hit and miss when it comes to graphics. The combat's a bit iffy, but like I said, man, I'm in it for the RPG stuff. I'm in it for the story, and I'm loving the concept of this world. Okay. I'd love for CD Projekt Red to take this concept and make a new game with it. But I'm enjoying it, actually. I think if anyone's wanting an interesting RPG, look into it. But but I wouldn't get it unless it's on sale like I bought it. If I bought it full price, I'd probably be a bit more salty.
Yeah, fair enough.
But buying it for I think I got it for $29, $30. I was like, I'm loving it. Great for $30.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's really it.
Yeah, I haven't really done much. I've watched I guess it's a newish anime. There's about 7 episodes out, but that's about it.
What anime?
Rent a Girlfriend, I think it's called.
It's really good.
It's really good. I got told about this anime by Stefan, who's one of my best mates. I don't watch this style of anime ever. I don't care about romantic comedy. I'm more about.
Rent a Girlfriend is great.
I go for the more action style animes or
Well,
IQ.
if you're gonna listen to that shit, can you please watch Bunny Girl Senpai?
No. But anyways,
No,
this
Mitchell,
anime
is
really
motherfucker,
good.
you need to watch that show. It is nothing like what you're expecting it to be.
I don't want to.
No, if you're enjoying Rent a Girlfriend, Bunny Girl Senpai is 10 times better than that show.
Rent a Girlfriend made me laugh, man. It genuinely made me laugh. Holy shit. You turned into a fucking meme, bro.
Do not
Dubstep
fuck with my
Andrew.
Bunny Girl Senpai. No, but seriously though, you need to watch that shit.
Yeah, but
100%.
Rent a Girlfriend I'm talking about. Shut up about your shitty show, alright?
It's not fucking shitty. Take it back.
I'm
Take
not
it
taking
back,
it back.
cunt.
No.
I will break lockdown rules and I will drive to you and make you fucking regret dissing my Bunny Girl Senpai.
Don't care. Don't care.
Fair, cool.
But Rent a
Anyway, you were
Girlfriend, it took me by surprise because I don't like cringy, lovey-dovey.
It's not really that though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I watched the show more, and it was really funny. The characters were really
don't you just hate
in-depth.
the main character though?
I don't.
He's the biggest incel.
Yeah,
He's such an incel.
But I think because of what he is, it complements what the show is and the other characters around him, and he makes me laugh. He does annoy me a little bit, but
I just laugh because
he has a lot of redeeming qualities. Which is
the fact that he's you're the bad person in this situation because you're doing your job, and you're doing your job for other people.
No, but
too.
that's great.
You're the cunt.
No, my favorite thing is when he's like that, because you can tell when you watch the show a bit, he is a massive overthinker, and I can relate to that. You just think and think and think and think, and to a point where it's not real. You just made a situation in your head that is not real, and then the reality, the glass breaking when she snaps and has a go on him this is my job, you're wrong, you're making this weird, I'm doing my job, no, I've done nothing wrong, you signed the terms and agreements to this, and then he's like, I love it, in his head, and then there's words just saying, I'm sorry, and he's like, I'm in the wrong here. And it's the realization and the dynamics between the characters. I think it's a really good show. Really, really funny show. You there, Andrew? You've gone frozen for me. We'll wait for Andrew to get back. But yeah, if you haven't seen Rent a Girlfriend, it's got about 7, probably 8 maybe by the time you've seen this. Really good show. Oh, there you are. You're back.
There you are. There we go.
You cut
out for me as well.
Yeah, but I've got the recording, so I got to keep talking.
Anyway, like I said, man, if you like that style thing, I promise you, man, you would like Bunny Girl Senpai. I know the name is fucking weird. I accept the name.
They're going to turn into a furry, Andrew. Is that what's going to happen?
No, it's got nothing to do with furries. No, seriously though, if you like the awesome character dynamics and a mild romance, it's got a romance thing, but it's barely. It's a focus whilst also not being the primary focus,
Yeah.
But the story in that anime is phenomenal. The character progression, some of the funniest jokes and conversations I've seen in an anime, just in general.
I might check it out.
I honestly recommend, if you watch the first 2 episodes, you will be able to go, okay. It was episode 1 for me, I was like, okay, I'm interested. The main character's funny. I'm gonna see where this goes. Second episode came in, I was like, okay, we'll continue. And then the third episode just made me go, oh my god. Yeah.
Other recommendations, I guess, for the people out there before we finish up. Decadence, really good.
That's a really good one. ReZero. If you've watched the first season,
yep.
Oh my lord!
If you haven't watched the first season, watch it.
Get on it. Yeah. The second season. Wow.
I know Andrew doesn't like it. I like God of High School. I'm interested in where it's going to go to this subplot that it's got in the background.
I gave up on it. It's so bad.
He gave up on it. I think it's really good. So take it as you will. You know, whichever opinion you want to follow.
I mean, to me, it's just. I think it's still okay. I don't think it's a bad show. I just think it's one of those like, watch it as an extremely like it's like an above average animation with a really poor story.
Yeah.
And
I'm just waiting till Haikyuu in October. I'm gonna be real.
Mm-hmm. But I think like it's a shame because my problem with God of High School is it could have been one of my favorite animes in general. If they'd have gone the route that I thought they were going. And instead they turned it into something much bigger and grander than it really needed to be.
Right. Well, I appreciate it being bigger than what again, like Decadence, it took me a bit to be like, okay, this is all right. They're actually expanding on this now, and it's making more sense.
But the thing is, though, with Decadence starts off with a world explanation and shows you that there is going to be a bigger, grander thing that is necessary. You know, my problem with God of High School was like they base it around this tournament-esque. It's a tournament arc, the TV show.
Yeah,
that is what it is. And then what they ruined for me is because like I've told you, tournament arcs excel at character progression. You know, they excel at building characters. That's the amazing thing about tournament arcs. You know, just throwing out My Hero Academia, making Todoroki a non-existent character from
Naruto.
Well, but the Todoroki's arc in My Hero during the tournament arc is one of the best character arcs that the show has had.
Yeah.
And the tournament arc is still my favorite arc in My Hero Academia. Because of the character progression that happens within it. It's a great way to be able to make
most big anime have had a tournament arc, pretty much.
Well, yeah, pretty much any shonen has a tournament arc.
Yeah. Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, I know has had one.
Dude, every shonen has a tournament arc.
Yeah.
What
about that volleyball episode in One Piece? Hell yeah. Anyways, go on. No one will know that.
No, I was just saying, like, it. You know, the best part is you see characters who butt heads in terms of their mental, their opinions on things, right?
Yeah.
And so they get to duke it out.
Yep.
In a tournament arc, and you get to see whose belief system, whose motto, whose headspace is the correct way to be. It's them fighting each other's ideals, you know?
Yeah.
And you get to see what makes their ideals so strong. You get to see why their ideals are there. And God of High School could have been an amazing character piece, showing all these different ideals from all these different styles of martial arts, and having them duke it out and butt heads and see it progress in the really awesome characters and see all these dynamic characters duking it out and slowly over time building up more characters and stuff. But instead it just went, now we're going into this cult shit. And I was like, oh. And it's like we're turning into this demonic cult shit. Fuck yeah. And that to me was a big letdown because it gets rid of what could have been a very simple but very effective idea.
Yeah.
You know,
see, I don't mind where it's gone into, but regardless, that's why I said it's up to your interpretation as an individual. If you want to go watch it and keep watching it, then do. If you don't like it, then that's that's how you take it. That's fine.
Yeah. And another thing as well that should be mentioned for anyone who is interested in it, all the fans of the original manhwa hate this show.
Oh, really?
They think it's a very poor adaptation. They've sped through a lot of it. So if you are interested in the overall story and you read manga or stuff like that, I'd recommend reading the manhwa instead then, because apparently this is a poor adaptation in the first place.
Yeah, well, there you go. But that's all I wanted to say, just a few recommendations in case you wanted some. To the people out there.
Absolutely.
But I've got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, no. Like, really, the only other nerd shit is I've been reading a lot of manga. Yeah. Reading a manga called Chainsaw Man. Really good. If anyone can see
that
it.
sounds like a simple but effective manga. Chainsaw Man.
Surprisingly, really good. Very good. Very good manga series.
It reminds me of when I watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer and I liked it.
It's a bit different. The concept is a really neat concept for Chainsaw Man. It's a really awesome concept. And it's managing to tackle things a lot more differently than other shonen series that I've seen.
Yeah.
No, go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go.
I was just gonna say the main character in this is so much different to what most main characters are in these shonen series. It's really well done. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was going to say to any Goblin Slayer fans out there...
there's a movie, yeah.
Yeah, the movie's come out. I watched it, and it's pretty good. You do go back at the start. It kind of goes over everything you've seen, which is kind of annoying. I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like watching something new, and it's going over stuff I already know and I've seen. I want to see new stuff. But it does go into new stuff and the new story. And when it does, it's really good. Really kind of dark.
I'm up to date on the manga, so...
So for people that want to interested, go watch it because it is really good. If you can just skip the first, 10 minutes.
I haven't watched the movie. I don't know what the movie covers. Because I've read the manga.
Basically, they go to a village.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything because it's a podcast. You're just.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. Basically, they go to take out goblins. All right.
Yes,
and it's at a level that they haven't done before. I guess in difficulty level, and it's really interesting. I always like seeing the dynamics of these characters interact with each other.
I don't know how the show ended. I didn't finish the show because I was reading the manga. We won't mention it. We can say it after the live stream.
Yeah,
we'll say it
really
after
good
the
show.
live stream.
Go watch it if you're a Goblin Slayer fan. Good film. All right.
Yeah,
that's all I was saying.
Easy. Yeah, I think that's the podcast.
Yeah,
that's the podcast.
All right. Wrap this up.
Peace out, motherfuckers. You've been NerdSpice. Boom.
Simple and effective. Gotta love it.
Yep.
All right. See you, everybody.